Hey friends and family, today's video will be using a bit of a hybrid deck. Some of you may realize that I've been revisiting my forgotten decks in my collection and showcasing them and also doing readings with them. So today's video is going to be a demonstration reading based on something real. When I was perusing this deck, I saw in the court faces, the court cards, in the face of one of the court cards, an individual that I knew in my past, going back 40 years or more. And I recently thought about him. And I've thought about him a few times in the course of my life, not usually favorably. He was a vindictive person, not somebody I could trust. Found out the hard way. And but I always tried to be his friend, and I always tried to be in his life, and just, I worked with, he was a person I worked with. And I just feel like when you're working with people, it's just, life is a lot easier when you get along, So I really went over and above trying to be his friend, and even on the surface, when it looked like he was my friend, he really was not my friend. And in the course of a lifetime, we discover those kinds of people. At any rate, so I guess about a year ago, or 6 months to a year ago, I started thinking about him. And I thought, I wonder whatever happened to GF. Those were his initials. So I thought, let me go. Let me look, let me see what he's up to. So unfortunately, when I found him, I discovered that he passed away from COVID in the very early, like in January of 2020, like right at the beginning, even before we even put a name to COVID, I think, it was really in the early stages. And a couple, I found his, I also found his Facebook page, and it was like 2 or 3 days before he died. He was out there having fun, and a nice picture of him doing something, And then a few days later, according to the obituary, he was dead. And I was like, whoa. And it just goes to show you how suddenly an illness, or how suddenly something can happen, that you just never saw coming. In fact, right around now is the anniversary of his death, to tell you the truth. It's interesting. It's like right around now. So I thought, I would do a reading regarding GF. I'll do like a 6-card reading to see how he felt about me by the time his life ended. How sometimes when people live their lives and they don't do right by some people, right? I know for myself, for example, when I reflect and I realize that there were people that I didn't do right in my life, it hurts me that I didn't do right, and I have regret for sure, that in my younger days when I was a little more cavalier about things, and maybe I wasn't as nice about someone or to someone as I should be. And then at the end of my life, as I get closer, if I can apologize to those people or find them or say, I'm really sorry, or to just do something nice by extension, even if it's for their children. So I wondered if, by the end of his life, if he realized or came to terms with the fact that he kind of didn't do me right. And I just was wondering. So I think I'm putting it to the cards for the universe. They'll let me know by the end of his life, did GF ever have remorse regarding how he treated me? Or if there was anything that if he could have gotten in touch with me, because my name changed twice since he knew me, so he wouldn't know my last name. So I'd give him a break, and that he would probably never be able to find me. And unless you know my name, you're not going to find me too easily. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip the camera and do that question. I'll be right back. And I forgot to mention the name of the deck that I'm using. It's the Svatojanský Tarot by Eva Francová. And I did a showcasing of this one video ago, so if you want to go find it. All right, I'm just going to do it 1 or 2 times. Here we go. All righty. So this suggests that he had friendly feelings towards me at the end, which is sort of satisfying. Well, when I said, towards the end of one's life, or not even towards the end of my life, it didn't take me till the end of my life this part of my life to regret things that I did that weren't right for people. I mean, I had lots of this understanding 20 years ago, but it looks like there was a certain amount of, if I read this in the context of the question of how did he feel about me toward the end of his life, he felt friendly, and this is him, I presume, and maybe he was disappointed in his behavior. Maybe he felt regret regarding his behavior toward me. And then here we have half man, half bird falling from the sky for the 8 of coins. He was like he was somebody who was he would have been a good engineer. I don't think he was educated. I don't think he had an education, a formal education, but he was always doing plans and he could have been an architect in another life or something like that, because he seemed to, so he was working towards something. I'm not sure what. Maybe he was working towards communicating with me. I don't know. I don't know how he ever would have found me. And I think the answer is already in the 3 cards. I did say 6 cards, so we'll honor that and look at all 6. So he might have been working toward communication. This guy's communicating, or he's blowing a horn or something. I did leave a message on his obituary wall. Just like giant David and Goliath here. The World card. So, I guess, I'm not sure. I get the answer better in these first 4 cards. That he had a friendly feeling toward me. He reproached himself. He was working towards maybe communicating. So maybe he had thought about reaching out to me at some point, or wishing that he could. Maybe he felt it was insurmountable. Maybe he felt like there was just no way he could get a hold of me, and then he died. I must say, it was very shocking to see that he passed away. It was very shocking. I didn't expect to see it. At any rate, this is just one of the many ways that tarot is. Let me flip the camera. It's just one of the many ways that tarot is helpful, and to help you organize your ideas and your thoughts. I mean, you know how when somebody doesn't treat you right, or they don't love you back, or whatever, it hurts, and you just, it feels nice for me to see that there was a possibility that he was working, he had some regret, and that he might have been working toward trying to find me, but it might have been insurmountable. It seemed like he couldn't do it, because my name had changed twice, and so he would have no way of hunting me down, really. Although David did he did take care of Goliath, but not everybody's David. And then the World card, I just see it as him passing on. So he didn't accomplish that. So it is, whether or not it's true, he might have just died and been a stinker about me his whole life and never liked me. That's a distinct possibility. But it brings closure to me, because I kind of feel some satisfaction in that. Okay, yeah, he came to terms with that he was a shit, and if he had the ability to communicate with me, that maybe he would, and maybe he is right now. Maybe that's it. So there's a certain amount of peace that it's brought me. So that's one of the things that tarot can do. It can bring peace. Definitely can bring peace. I do many readings for myself and for loved ones and for clients, of course, who, when someone passes like unexpectedly, or even if they pass through a prolonged illness or whatever, up until the time they go, you just don't expect it to happen. I took care of my mother in hospice. I moved in with her. I knew she was dying, and yet the day she died, I wasn't prepared. And then all the things, I should have asked her this, I should have done that, I should have done this, and then it's too late, which is why I have this channel. So anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace and stay well.